This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. They say they're lucky to be alive after surviving a terrifying bus crash near Mafeking. As we first told you Tuesday, a school bus was trying to pass another bus when it lost control on the icy highway and rolled into the ditch. 15 people from the bus went to hospital. 3 teens were airlifted to Winnipeg with significant injuries. CBC's Jan.15 spoke with them here right after they were released.
I was out of it. I thought I was dreaming until I felt my body hit the ground so hard.
That was Drea Maytoyashing describing what it was like when her school bus rolled over into a ditch on Tuesday morning near Mafeking. The 17-year-old was sleeping until she felt the bus start to lose control. Then she blacked out.
And I woke up on the other side of the bus, screaming on a different seat. I woke up all bloody, and yeah, I have a big gash on my forehead.
Her brother, Drayden Janai, and cousin Michelle Chartrand were also on the bus. They both remember waking up in the snow.
When I was sleeping, I felt the bus swerve, and then all of a sudden it started rolling, and I opened my eyes and I saw the bus rolling, and then I blacked out, and I just remember waking up outside of the bus.
Drayden and Michelle both said they were thrown from the bus through the side windows. Right after he woke up, Drayden immediately looked for Drea.
I wasn't really worried about myself. I was more worried about my sister.
Drayden and Drea's grandmother, Tracy Campeau, got to the scene as quickly as she could. She's also Michelle's aunt and had one other grandchild on the bus.
I'm so grateful they're alive, because this is the 3rd accident in my family I had to run to.
All 3 teens were flown to Health Sciences Center with significant injuries. Campeau flew with Drayden and has been looking after the 3 of them since they've been in Winnipeg. She says they were lucky the snow was soft, as it could have been even worse.
They enjoy getting up every day to get on that bus, and but right now they're traumatized and they don't know if they want to get on that bus again.
Having seen the state of the bus after it crashed, Campeau says she wants seatbelts in school buses. Premier Wab Kinew says he's open to the conversation but wants to wait to fully understand what happened before proposing solutions. RCMP say the investigation is still ongoing and there is no word yet whether charges are expected. The family is planning to drive home to Sapatoyat Cree Nation on Friday. Jan.15, CBC News, Winnipeg.
He was caught on tape red-handed. Now there's newly released video and audio proof of disgraced Winnipeg police constable breaking the law and his oath as an officer. CBC's Caitlin Gowerluck has the latest.
There's that fanny pack in the bag. Yeah. You'll be a good. I'll be pretty sure. Pretty sure. Are you fixating today? I'm pretty sure you're going to like what's in there.
This is the moment former Winnipeg police officer Elston Bostock decides to steal evidence on the job, caught on video as part of an integrity test by police. What Bostock and his partner thought was a vehicle break-in was actually a staged incident where an undercover RCMP officer posed as a person who'd confronted a suspect and ripped a backpack off him as the suspect ran away. You can see Bostock and the other officer then pop the trunk and rifle through the bag. They find cigarettes, money, and what looks like Xanax and meth.
So we got 75 in cash. And there's more of those pills in the bag here. Yeah. At the bottom. And I don't think the drug dealer's going to come back and claim that Coda left line. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Those videos were released after Bostock's sentencing hearing this week. He's admitted to years of corruption and other crimes. Bostock was arrested in 2024 after a lengthy police investigation. There were also phone calls played in court.
Sergeant Bostock. Oh, Sergeant Bostock needs a big favor.
Like one where Bostock asks another officer to get rid of a friend's speeding ticket.
If he goes to court, right, then you just start to think, oh yeah, there's extenuating circumstances. It came to light after the fact. I just like to drop this one. And like they're doing so many, they don't give a shit. Right? I told him I know you, so like if he could go and just say, yeah, I plead guilty with an explanation, right? Yeah. And then you guys go to court, you show up and you say to the Crown, like, yeah, you know what, I found out stuff that came to light later. He had an explanation. Like, I just like to drop the charge. I just like to drop the ticket.
I've never done that before.
I've done it, and it works. Believe me, because they got such a, I know, and they got such a caseload that they don't really care.
Bostock's psychological report was also released this week. He describes a culture of drinking and ticket fixing in the police service that he noticed as soon as he started back in 2003. Bostock is expected to be sentenced next week. Prosecutors want 7 years in prison, while the defense asked for a little over 2. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Despite classes now resuming, hundreds of students in Pimicikamak Cree Nation have been unable to go back to school after it was damaged following the days-long power outage in December. Crews found several frozen pipes that burst, along with damage to the sprinkler system and electric cables at the schools. Also, there were collapsed ceilings. 14 portables are also now unusable after plumbing system damages. More than 400 students have been able to return to classes, but hundreds of others are displaced and out of their homes. Nurses in the province are worried about unfilled shifts as Manitoba cuts the number of private agencies it uses to fill those vacancies. That change officially takes effect today. As CBC's Josh Crabb reports, there are concerns about what it will mean for healthcare facilities that relied heavily on agency nurses.
Health regions across the province say they've been working to reduce their reliance on the use of nurses from private agencies. The Manitoba Nurses Union supports this change, but President Darlene Jackson has been hearing from nurses who are concerned the province isn't adequately prepared to fill shifts, with Manitoba now working with way fewer of these companies.
I think nurses are worried. They're looking at schedules with lots and lots of needs in them. And I think employers are worried.
As of Thursday, Manitoba is reducing the almost 80 private nursing agencies it's used to help fill vacant shifts to just 4 that were picked through a bidding process. The province was counting on nurses who worked for these companies to move into permanent jobs in the public system or to one of the remaining agencies, but a former nurse isn't confident that will happen.
They took that opportunity away, and there's a lot of different rules and stipulations regarding agency now and how you can work within one. And it's just all this red tape that's just going to decrease the nursing pool.
The Nurses Union is worried about unfilled shifts in Dauphin and Pine Falls. The latter is the closest hospital for people in Saugeen First Nation.
Well, it's a critical institution, health institution for the community.
While he supports using fewer agencies, Chief E.J. Fontaine is hoping for a smooth transition. A spokesperson for Health Minister Uzoma Asaguera says the province continues to work closely with regional health authorities to support staffing during this transition, including through the provincial float pool and a smaller group of vetted agency partners. While not meant to replicate agencies, they say another key part of the transition is the provincial travel nurse team, which has grown from 280 nurses in 2024 to 555 at the end of 2025, with many coming from agencies. The union suggests the travel team needs more like 800 nurses. They're concerned it wasn't staffed up fast enough in time for this change. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, let's bring in weather specialist Riley Lachak. And Riley, I feel like you are one of the busiest people in our newsroom during weeks like this, because everyone wants to know, what do I wear? When should I wash my car? How cold is it getting? And it's really a different answer every day on this roller coaster.
Yeah, and really a different answer depending on where you are, Brittany. So we do have some weather watches, some advisories in place. A blowing snow advisory on the south and southeastern sides of the large lakes. So think the Trans-Canada between St. Francis and Portage up on the east eastern side of Lake Winnipeg. This is because of the anticipated snow that we're expecting tonight and some of those more prone open areas getting into some of those stronger wind gusts. Blizzard warnings on the large lakes. Could see some wind gusts on the lakes up to 80 kilometers an hour as we head through the night tonight and into the day on Friday. This is all the result of an area of low pressure. We saw the warm front sweep through earlier. That's what's helped to warm things up throughout the day. I mean, we did see a few flurries, some ice pellets in Winnipeg, some snow grains reported. Also some showers reported in Norway House earlier in the day today. So it's really been a little bit of everything across much of the province and into northwestern Ontario. Bit more of a steadier snow throughout the day today as well. So I do expect that we'll get into periods of light snow. I'm not talking major accumulations across the south tonight, but certainly expect a bit of a dusting through the night. But it's the winds that will be the story as we get through the day on Friday. Northwest 40 gusting to 60. And as the cold front in behind this low pushes through, temperatures drop substantially as we get into the afternoon. At -15 for the afternoon temperature, Brittany, and then we're looking at things falling further into the weekend. I'll have more on that just ahead.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
It's now a pile of rubble, but could 2 former hotels that burned to the ground soon be all bought up and changed? More on that next. They agreed to buy a historic hotel 4 days before it burned down. That was a year ago when the Sutherland Hotel was destroyed. Now that same nonprofit housing developer says it could also set its sights on the newly demolished Manwin Hotel. But as CBC's Cameron McLean reports, both of those plans face big challenges.
What was once the Manwin Hotel is now rubble, leaving another empty site along Main Street. For Percy Sato, the loss is complicated. He has fond memories of living here years ago, including meeting his wife, but he says the building had declined.
I'm sad to see it gone because of all the memories I have of my younger days. But this is what needed to happen. It needed to be cleansed to let all the spirits that were here go free.
A fire broke out in the vacant hotel early Wednesday morning. The cause is under investigation. The fire occurred almost exactly 1 year after another fire destroyed the Sutherland Hotel, just a few blocks north. Keith Gordon of a BC-based nonprofit housing group says they had agreed to buy the Sutherland just days before that fire. The deal still hasn't closed.
But we have $500,000 worth of remediation that has to take place here, and it's difficult to know how that's going to happen.
Gordon says now his organization wants to buy the Manwin site. Main Street Project, which operates a shelter next to the Manwin, hopes that happens.
Yeah, we'd love to see a big housing block here. We have plans to build above the shelter buildings.
The city says cleanup costs at the Manwin will be charged to the owner, but that's on hold because the building had asbestos. Mayor Scott Gillingham and city councillors have called on city administrators to ramp up taking title of derelict properties.
We've got to the point where we're saying enough is enough. We're going to take title sooner.
City officials say the owner of the Manwin owes money on their property taxes, but it could still be a year before they can start the tax sale process. While people like Saito are sad for what was lost, there may be a chance for something new to rise in its place. Cameron McLean, CBC News, Winnipeg.
That fire at the Manwin also caused issues at the homeless shelter next door, and those who want to help are being encouraged to buy a raffle ticket. Main Street Project is still cleaning and assessing damages at its building. The executive director says a large portion of their food and clothing donations were ruined. But the organization doesn't have capacity to take any donations right now. Instead, it's running a 50-50 raffle to raise money. The draw will be held January 30th. So far, it's raised more than $9,000. You can buy tickets on their website at mainstreetproject.ca. Today, construction began at a massive development at the Forks. When complete, Railside the Forks will be a collection of 10 mid-rise buildings filled with housing units, businesses, courtyards, and pedestrian infrastructure. The CBC's Matt Humphrey has the latest.
And with that, Railside at the Forks is officially under construction. The parking lot across from the Canadian Museum for Human Rights is about to transform. 10 buildings, none taller than 6 stories, filled with condos and rentals on top and retail spaces on the bottom. Forks CEO Sarah Stasiuk says it's being built with foot traffic in mind.
We're looking at public places as the cornerstone, not roadways. And so there will be car access. However, the idea is that people can walk through and live a life that is pedestrian focused.
Expected to cost more than $150 million, Phase 1 of construction will include 350 residential units within the next 2 years. Winnipeg South Centre MP Ben Carr says the federal government is happy to kick in funds.
We have a desire across the country, including in Manitoba and Winnipeg, to make sure that we're meeting the needs around housing.
The Forks also partnered with the city and provincial government. Provincial Housing Minister Bernadette Smith wants more people living downtown.
This is 350 new units, 350 new families potentially. That's 350 new families downtown contributing to businesses.
The new buildings on the historic site won't have basements, so construction won't disturb any potential archaeological finds. Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham says Railside's part of making downtown more walkable.
They're able to do this in other cities. I'm excited we're doing it here in Winnipeg.
He expects more than 5,000 more people will move downtown in the next few years.
I don't see an issue. I think the biggest problem that I see is the parking that would probably be really bad, because there's only a little bit of parking back there, and there's not much, right? And so, but I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more friendly faces around down here.
If there's affordable housing, then, which we desperately need, then I think it's okay. And if it's only 6 stories.
By 2040, when all phases are complete, Railside should include 1,200 new residential units total. Matt Humphrey, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, Riley is back in. And Riley, it feels like we've been through maybe 3 seasons this week already, minus summer, but we did have some nice sun today. But that thaw, that freeze, some snow, some freezing rain, a little bit of everything.
There's a lot happening, Brittany, in the next 24 hours across the province. All of it centered around a big deep freeze that's coming as we get toward the weekend here. So I'll get right into it. Let's take a look at satellite radar, and you can really see this area of low pressure as it sits over northern Manitoba right now. That sort of comma-shaped look in the clouds right now, that's that area of low pressure and the cold front that's coming in behind it here. So you can kind of see that sitting over Thompson and draping down through parts of the Inner Lake and down into the parkland. And as this comes through, this will bring some snow, although this area of low pressure a bit drier than expected, although we have seen some precipitation in parts of the north throughout the night last night into the day today. Certainly, at least to this point, not up to expectations necessarily, but we will see some precipitation as we get through the night, pretty scattered in nature across southern Manitoba. So it's entirely possible that maybe you get 2 centimeters, 4 centimeters at your house, but a few kilometers down the road, you get nothing. So that's the type of precipitation that we're looking at, but the story as we head into Friday will be the winds that come in behind this. So in the morning for Friday, still a few flurries lingering in behind this cold front as it comes through, maybe a couple of pockets of light snow in northern Manitoba, and then high pressure starts to move in behind this, and this is going to clear us out as we get into Saturday, but you know how this trend has been going. It will also pull our temperatures back pretty considerably as we head into the weekend. Then there's another weak disturbance following the jet stream that will sweep across southern Manitoba overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. This doesn't do much for our temperatures. It does elevate things a little bit into the weekend and give us another quick dusting of snow, but things stay close to or just below the seasonal mark as we head into the weekend here as well. So winds as we get through the night tonight. We've already started to see those winds picking up on the northwestern side of the province, but as we advance into the overnight hours, you'll see some of these pockets of purple and blue. These are wind gusts in excess of 60 or up to 70 kilometers an hour. So take that into consideration. Again, that blowing snow advisory in place for the south and southeastern tips of Lake Manitoba and Lake Winnipeg. This is where we could see some of those areas, especially that are prone to blowing snow, seeing some near zero visibility at times as we head into the morning hours on Friday. Tomorrow, generally pretty windy right across the south. That wind's going to have a bit of a bite to it, particularly once that cold front sweeps through. And then we'll see a little bit of improvement wind-wise as we head into Saturday, but things still staying a bit on the gusty side as we head through Saturday before we see things dying off into Sunday. So by the afternoon, I mean, today we were at +1 in Winnipeg. By this time tomorrow, looking at temperatures closer to -15 in the south, closer to -30 in northern Manitoba, and things just keep going down from there. So Saturday looking at -23 by the afternoon, a bit of improvement into Sunday, Brittany at -15, and things remaining below seasonal right into early next week with maybe a bit more snow into Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
And here's a look at how some folks have been enjoying the winter weather. We're back right after this. A Canadian citizen has died in Iran at the hands of authorities, according to Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister. It comes as nationwide protests that began over its faltering economy appear to be dwindling in the face of the regime's bloody crackdown. Activists say the violence has left at least 2,000 dead, with more than 16,000 arrested. Tehran, meanwhile, is now addressing fears over a spate of executions scheduled for this week. The CBC's Crystal Gamansing has more from London.
26-year-old Irfan Soltani's family says his scheduled execution was postponed. That information confirmed to CBC in an email from the human rights group Henga. Soltani's family has been in contact with that group. It's not known if or when Iranian officials will go ahead with the scheduled execution. In an interview on Fox News Network, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi outright stated there would be no hangings.
And there is no any hanging today or tomorrow or whatever. That's Friday. I can tell you, I'm confident about that. There is no plan for hanging at all.
In that interview, Araghchi deflected responsibility for violence against protesters away from Iranian security forces.
There were terrorist cells. They got police officers, burned them alive, they beheaded them, and they started shooting at police officers and also to the people. So as a result, for 3 days, we had, in fact, fighting against terrorists and not, with the protesters. It was completely a different story.
His comments may have prompted a step down from U.S. President Donald Trump. He went from talking about a willingness to attack Iran to watching the situation now that the killings have reportedly stopped. And the foreign minister publicly stated there will be no hangings. The Trump administration did today announce new sanctions against Iran. Based on information from the U.S. State Department of Treasury, the sanctions target more than a dozen individuals and entities. Earlier in the week, Trump announced a 25% tariff on countries doing business with Iran. Crystal Gamansing, CBC News, London.
U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act, allowing him to deploy troops in Minnesota, where protests are continuing against immigration agents there. That has further heightened the sense of fear and anger in the city, 1 week after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman. Agents used flashbangs, tear gas, and pepper balls against protesters Wednesday night. Demonstrators took to the streets again after a Venezuelan national was shot in the leg during a targeted stop. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security alleges the man attacked an officer with a broom and shovel. Homeland Security has made more than 2,000 arrests in its Minnesota immigration crackdown since early December and is vowing to not back down. More troops from NATO countries are arriving in Greenland amid the U.S. president's threats to acquire the autonomous Danish nation. A plane carrying soldiers from Denmark landed overnight, while a small contingent of French troops arrived Thursday, with others from Germany, the UK, Norway, Sweden, and the Netherlands en route. They're seen as a show of unity among European nations and a signal to Trump that NATO can safeguard Greenland's security without an American takeover. However, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says she doesn't think their presence will change Trump's goal of taking over the territory. It's being called a dramatic and welcome turnaround in ties between Canada and China. Prime Minister Mark Carney spent his first full day in Beijing Thursday, holding a series of meetings with Chinese business and political leaders. And it went as well as could be hoped. A number of new agreements were signed, but one key issue still hasn't been resolved. The CBC's Ashley Burke has details.
A grand welcome for Prime Minister Mark Carney at China's Great Hall of the People. Beijing opening the doors to Canada after years of diplomatic tension to reset relations. Carney met with the country's second highest official ahead of his meeting with China's president.
Our teams have worked hard in the subsequent weeks and months to address some specific issues that had built up over time, but more than that, to put in place the foundation for the new strategic partnership.
The two countries signing a series of non-binding agreements, including more cooperation on clean and conventional energy like oil and gas. It marks the start of energy talks at a ministerial level, which a Canadian official says hasn't happened for close to a decade. But no new commitments so far for exports of Canadian energy to China.
They are very clear they would like more Canadian energy products.
We're now in a new era of partnership with China.
Partnerships, but so far no sign of a resolution to an ongoing tariff dispute.
And do you see a breakthrough as being possible this visit?
There's still negotiation happening.
Beijing wants Canada to drop its tariffs on Chinese-made electric vehicles that match American tariffs. Carney is under immense pressure from Canadian industry to get relief from China's retaliatory tariffs, which are hitting products including canola. Saskatchewan's Premier Scott Moe, joining Carney in Beijing, is raising expectations some sort of a deal could be reached.
For this trip, this is the beginning of a process. We're not going to see an immediate resolution, but we likely will see some progress or some signals in terms of where they're heading.
At this point, there's no sign of a breakthrough, and Canadian officials also aren't saying what they're willing to do to get there. But Carney is expected to meet with the president of China on Friday to try and make progress. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Beijing.
After a long and painful slump in Canadian real estate sales in the country's biggest markets, many are hoping that prospects for the coming year are looking up. Jan.15 has that story.
After a year of ups and downs for prospective homeowners, Canada's housing market still has challenges ahead.
Affordability is still going to be a constraint. Supply not being around in big numbers in many parts of the country is a constraint.
With interest rates down but economic anxiety high, the Canadian Real Estate Association still thinks national sales will pick up this year.
We're expecting a 5.1% increase in sales in 2026. So not a huge increase, but we could get a 10% increase in 1 month if a lot of people come off the sidelines.
But the picture differs across the country. Nationally, home prices kept steady, but home sales fell by 4.5% last month, year over year. Financial stress drummed up by the trade war and high unemployment, at least partly to blame for keeping some home buyers on the sidelines. Canada's largest markets taking big hits. In Toronto, homes changed hands at their lowest rate since 2000. This realtor says don't expect a major pickup.
And we're not going to see a massive rebound in buyers rushing back into the market because there is still so much uncertainty.
It's not just big cities. Smaller markets across southern Ontario and BC also struggled this year. Likely an adjustment after prices skyrocketed during the pandemic.
Because those price gains were more significant in those areas, the correction is also a bit more significant.
But some Canadian real estate markets thrived in December. Home prices in Quebec City shot up 17% year over year.
Quebec City is probably one of the harder markets across the country, some parts of Atlantic Canada, and still some parts of the prairies in Saskatchewan in particular, and in Manitoba as well.
As for where the housing market goes next, Hogue says that depends on the economy. Analysts aren't expecting the Bank of Canada to move interest rates this year. But with the North American free trade renegotiation on the horizon, that could change. Jan.15, CBC News, Toronto.
An independent watchdog overseeing Canadian telecoms says customer complaints are on the rise. Julia Wong now on the one issue that has Canadian customers fed up the most.
We only have so many options in Canada.
Michael Ma has a love-hate relationship with his cell phone provider.
When it works, I'm satisfied. When it doesn't work, I'm unsatisfied. In terms of how much it costs, I definitely think it could be lower.
Telecom grumbling isn't new, but for a third year running, a report from Canada's telecom watchdog shows complaints at a record high. more than 23,000 from August 1st, 2024 to July 31st, 2025, a year-over-year jump of 17%. As in the past, both cell phones and billing dominate concerns.
I'm with Virgin, and I do find it pretty expensive.
We were with Bell, and then we moved to Public Mobile. Drastically cut our bill, like 25%.
As the cost of living rises, household budgets are tightening, and consumers are more sensitive to either price changes or, billing disputes that they may not have otherwise pursued in the past.
The Commission urges carriers to communicate more clearly with customers about their services and contracts.
Very often the carriers retain the right to increase some of those prices. And so consumers sometimes get a bit of sticker shock where they think they've agreed to one price and only to find that a month to 6 months later, suddenly that price has increased.
Solutions won't be immediate. There isn't much competition in Canada. Rogers and Shaw merged 3 years ago.
We really need to focus on how do we bring more competitors into the mix without forcing them to duplicate the billion-dollar investments that other companies have made.
The organization representing Canadian telecoms tells CBC News the complaints represent less than 0.1% of subscribers. The federal department that oversees the industry says it's promoting competition in the telecom sector and using policy to make services more affordable. Julia Wong, CBC News, Edmonton.
Atmospheric rivers and the flooding they bring are intensifying. Coming up, we'll show you the planes flying straight into them to help improve forecasting. BC is still drying out after yet another atmospheric river that caused record rainfall across the province. The weather forecasters are starting to get more warnings about those kinds of super soaker events. The CBC's Johanna Wagstaff explains.
For over 80 years, scientists have been flying specially outfitted aircraft, essentially flying laboratories, straight into the eye of hurricanes, built to handle the toughest conditions, collecting data that satellites can't. These planes are piloted by some of the most experienced aviators in the world, crews from the U.S. Air Force Weather Reconnaissance Squadron, famously nicknamed the Hurricane Hunters. Their reputation, legendary among meteorologists. But these planes aren't just chasing hurricanes anymore. They're now flying into massive rain-producing storms called atmospheric rivers, like this one, drenching Vancouver.
They have their hurricane mission throughout the summer and fall, but during the winter, we have atmospheric rivers across the Pacific, of course, and they can be really helpful for those.
Atmospheric rivers deliver most of the West Coast rain and snow in a year, but they're also behind our biggest floods, landslides, and thanks to climate change, some of our hardest to predict weather. And that's exactly why scientists are chasing them out at sea. As the planes fly through the storm, they release instruments called dropsondes, weather scanners that fall through the atmosphere, measuring temperature, pressure, wind, and how much water vapor the storm is carrying, like taking an MRI of the storm itself. By measuring these storms offshore, forecasters can better predict how strong they'll be, where they'll hit, and how much rain and snow they'll unload. And that means earlier warnings, better flood preparation, and smarter decisions before the rain starts.
In the western U.S., for some cases, we can see up to a 20% improvement in that forecast. And then overall, in some seasons, we see up to like a 10% improvement in those same regions. And that's a pretty huge improvement over just a year period. I think 10% relates to like how much a model might improve over a 10-year period.
And these river hunters, okay, that nickname hasn't stuck yet, will soon be deployed everywhere. This winter, the reconnaissance program is going global. Flights are expanding into the Atlantic with more ocean buoys and international partners feeding into the weather models. The goal is to extend reliable forecasts beyond that 1-week limit. So more time to prepare for atmospheric rivers that are becoming more intense in a warming world.
All right, so Riley, we've heard a lot about those atmospheric rivers on the West Coast. We don't get them here, but what happens there does impact us.
Yeah, and it all has to do, Brittany, with the upper level winds, which I'll show you briefly here just to kind of explain how this works. So some of that moisture gets picked up in some of those upper level winds, the jet stream, and that's what helps fuel that storm track and can give a little bit of extra moisture to some of the winter storms that we've seen. We've certainly seen some that have had a little bit more snow than others this winter. But the upper level winds right now, at least, there is a ridge of high pressure off the Pacific coast, and that's driving those upper level winds, the jet stream a little bit further north, and which is what's helping define the storm track that we've seen, not just with that low pressure system we're seeing today, but what we're going to see over the next several days into the weekend with that next system that I'm looking at impacting the province as we head overnight into Saturday. Looking at our daytime highs from today, boy, oh boy, hard to believe that we are in the middle of January looking at some of these temperatures. +1 in Winnipeg, 2s and 3s in the west, even Thompson at 0. If we're comparing this to where we were yesterday in terms of daytime highs, in Gimli, 22 degrees warmer today than it was yesterday. A lot of 11 to 13 degree differences on the board here. Thompson, 15 degrees warmer than it was yesterday as well. So certainly a big thaw happening today, and that's all going to come crashing down as we get through Friday. I hope that Levi and Barb have their extra blankets ready. They're enjoying staying warm into the winter season here. Thank you for sending this picture in. You can keep yours coming to talk back at cbc.ca. So as we get through the day tomorrow, very windy. Probably not a good day for a dog walk. Northwest winds 40 gusting to 60. It's really going to put a bite in the air as we get through the day, and that temperature steadily falling as we get through the day, down to -15 by the evening. Overnight temperatures around -15 or so. These are close to what we should be seeing for daytime highs across southern Manitoba at this point in January, minus 18 in Roblin. Periods of light snow pretty generally across the south tonight, even into parts of the north, still seeing some of that tonight. Minus 17 in Thompson and Grand Rapids, Norway House at minus 15. And then temperatures fall through the day, maybe a bit of light snow yet to come through Norway House into Thompson, but Dooley Lake dropping to minus 32 by the afternoon, Lynn Lake dropping to almost minus 30 by the afternoon. And in the south, temperatures falling as we get through the afternoon as well. Minus 15 in Winnipeg by the afternoon. The Interlake minus 17s and minus 18s by the time we get to this time tomorrow, Brittany. So we're really looking at some cooler temperatures setting in.
All right. Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
Perfect for an outdoor rink, but is your community rink worn down and maybe in need of some fixes? You can nominate it to win $50,000 for rink upgrades through Craft Hockeyville. One winner from each of Canada's 13 provinces and territories will be chosen. Paul Bissonnette is a former NHL player and Craft ambassador. He spoke about it with Marcy Marcusa.
Talk about like small town communities all across Canada, and you think of like, where does a community get together? Like, hockey's our sport, right? You think of like church, the like local library, and you think of the hockey rink, and maybe another few things and a handful of things, but it means so much to Canada, and the fact that there's some of these rinks that are, they've faced the test of time, but maybe the boards are a little bit run down. The glass is not where it needs to be. Maybe they need a new Zamboni. So to get behind such an amazing initiative that has been going on for now 20 years, and all the selfless, amazing people behind the scenes who have organized this and donated, I believe it's around $5.5 million over the course of the 19 prior years to over 105 communities across Canada. So talk about doing big things. And of course, in year 20 now, they're bringing myself and Marc-Andre Fleury on board, and they're going to be giving away even more money. So the fact that every province and territory is going to get a winner as well as a big winner, it's just awesome to be a part of. And even on top of that, when it came across our desk, myself and my buddy Jeff, I was like, Jeff, I played in one of these games in 2016, I believe it was, in Lumby, BC. And it was an incredible experience. I played for the LA Kings organization in an exhibition game against the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid was playing in it. And I just remember, like, not only the community making us feel like rock stars because they were hosting the game, but just the look on the kids' faces and the people's faces, and the fact that they got to watch, not me, but Connor McDavid show up to their community, the next great one, essentially, right? So there's so many reasons as to why I wanted to hop on board. And I know it's just me and Marc-Andre Fleury as the face of it going around promoting it, but there's so many people that have been helping this and making this thing work for the last 20 years that need to be commended on their hard achievements.
When you think about the hockey community and you continue to think about making it accessible, you're talking about the aging rinks, and maybe you need a new Zamboni. And when it shuts down, right, like your whole town is like lost without the rink. It's also like equipment's also an issue, right? When you think about making it accessible for young kids and such. Do you think it's a lot less accessible today when you think about your journey up to the NHL?
I think that cost is always going to be the conversation, right? And I think you're always trying to look at how do you alleviate that type of pressure. Well, maybe that's more pond hockey in the winter, right? Like, how do we make that accessible if they don't have the money or the resources to get to a rink? Hopefully that ice time is donated at a certain point where, because we know how much it costs per hour now, the equipment probably being the biggest thing. And I know, I've talked to friends of mine who are from Sweden, who I've played with, and I think Finland does it to a certain degree as well, about how they make sure that they're handing down their gear, right? They're playing in the same organized community, and then they'll, at the end of the season, as they're continuing to grow, they just leave it for the next young players that are coming up. So helping out in order to cut costs in that regard, I'm sure would create a lot more kids signing up and alleviating a little bit, or a lot of bit more stress from the parents who are shelling out all this money. Like, once again, like, I was very fortunate where in Welland we had 2 arenas. Both of my parents had well-paying jobs where they were able to provide me with the resources, and I'll never take that for granted. And all of us who did have that ability, we were privileged. And for those of you who don't have that ability, let's hope that we can all figure out a way to be able to get them these resources at a cheaper cost, so we can continue to keep up as one of the strongest, if not the strongest hockey nation, right?
Before you go, Biz Nasty, I can't help asking you about the nasty business that is our Winnipeg Jets this year.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the
okay.
time we're talking, we're 11 losses in a row. You think this season can be saved?
Yeah, because Toronto went through a very difficult time. It can always be saved. I mean, you go back to when St. Louis won the Stanley Cup. I want to say it was in 19, maybe 17. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, they went through us. They made a run, actually, and everybody was like, oh, don't worry, we'll get through St. Louis. And then they went all the way. It was like crazy.
Crazy run. That's right. Yeah. So you're never really out of it. And that's what makes the parity in the NHL so amazing. They've dealt with their fair share of injuries. But yeah, they can right the ship here. They got a lot of good players in that locker room, including a multiple Vezina winning goalie. So let's hope they do. I like to see all the Canadian teams in the mix.
Don't we all? Well, still ahead, a ski high. We take you to course more than 2,000 meters high in our daily lift.
And it looks like our first crew member out of the spacecraft is NASA astronaut Mike Fink.
It's a safe homecoming for 4 crew members of the ISS. Their crew capsule splashed down early this morning off the coast of San Diego, a few weeks ahead of schedule. A medical issue among one of the crew members prompted NASA to bring them home early. This is the first time ISS astronauts have had to evacuate the station due to a medical issue. There are still 3 crew members on board.
All right, having a look at radar, and we are seeing light snow as expected across parts of southern Manitoba. Expect periods of light snow tonight, scattered in nature, but nonetheless still I would expect some precipitation, at least a dusting as we get through the night. Into the morning, temperature falls to -15 in Winnipeg through the day tomorrow, all the way down to -23 by the time we get into the afternoon on Saturday. Rebounding slightly as we get into another system into Sunday at -15 degrees, and then we are looking at temperatures remaining below seasonal as we head through next week, -17 by next Tuesday, and things hanging around -16 by midweek. It is a sky-high spectacle involving big risk, Brittany, and a lot of nerve.
I don't like heights, so I'm not going to love this, I'm sure. In the heart of the Julian Alps in northeast Italy, winter sports enthusiasts are taking on a 350-meter-long sloping course of jumps and obstacles. Our daily lift is not for the faint of heart. Oh boy, this winding course was built of a rocky ridge more than 2,000 meters high and just 1 meter wide to its narrowest point. It's a heart-stopping slide along the rooftop of the world.
Standing on the drop-in for this run is really nerve-wracking. It was really a moment where I had this, before a contest drop-in feeling. I had to a little bit do this one to get my nerves down.
What? Oh my God! So among those taking on the challenge is a member of Italy's Olympic team ahead of the Winter Games on home soil next month.
I mean, it looks amazing.
One wrong move.
I would, I would rather watch that than do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to watch.
Yeah.
And it must just feel so freeing up there too.
I'll just keep it at a distance. Have a great night.
See ya.